Every snap is an interview.
After the Snap.
What a snap.
Hey, keep your mouth shut, 50!
I lead by example.
With Blake and Reed Ferguson, discussing life in, out, and after football.
To be able to leave walking away with a degree and a championship, it couldn't be any better.
Yeah!
Well, you can take this boy out the real South Thunder, but you can't take the real South out of my voice. And now here we go again, twist a little bit deeper because I got thick skin.
Blake, welcome back.
Welcome back to After the Snap.
After the Snap.
I try to lead by
back.
example. In case you didn't know that 2 years later, I still try to lead by example. I don't know if you've listened to our jingle in a while, but that's on like something that I said in an interview. I don't know where it is, but
lead by
I always
example,
laugh
yes.
when I hear it in the
Yes.
in the intro. Anyway, sorry. I hate to ruin your intro here.
No, you're good. It's been 2 weeks, a quick 2 weeks. I know you spent some time out in Hawaii at PA meetings. We'll get into that in a minute. Free agency has started. As of today, we are recording on Wednesday the 15th. Free agency began about 4 hours ago, and or I guess 4 or 5 hours ago, depending on what time zone you're in. And a lot of moves have been made between our teams across the NFL. A lot of guys still up in the air, trades, etc. If you watched Pat McAfee's show today, some big news in the AFC East that pertains to both of our teams. And then, of course, as mentioned in the intro, March Madness starts tomorrow. We have some prizes to announce towards the end of the podcast, so stay tuned for that. But I want to get into a little bit about your trip last week to Hawaii for PA meetings. You were voted by your teammates as an alternate. For those that don't know, each team has one NFLPA Players Association rep, and then each team gets 3 alternates that are voted. All 4 players are voted on every other year. So
I think,
Blake, you were
I think
voted.
I think it's important to give it a little bit of context as to why that is. So we have 4 reps. That may seem like a lot to just the average listener who, doesn't really know what the PA does, why we go to meetings, what that's for. So let me backtrack just a little bit. So the reason why there's 4 reps at meetings is because a lot of times in the NFL offseason, guys have stuff going on, babies potentially being due, weddings, just different. There's a lot of stuff going on, a lot of travel, a lot of whatever. And so that way you basically guarantee that somebody is going to be there on behalf of your team. In the past, there were 2 reps. There was one main rep and then an alternate. And what teams would do is teams would basically try any way that they possibly can to get rid of the PA reps, because effectively what the union is players keeping the team in check, but also just fighting for more money, better working conditions, things like that. And a lot of times the PA and the league don't agree. Most times the PA and the league don't agree. And so teams didn't like the fact that there were players who were representing the team as part of the union leadership. We are all mostly, I would assume 99.9% of the league are union members. You have to pay dues every season to be a union member. But there are players who are voted as union reps for the team to go to these meetings, to join calls every month, to sort of lay out important things that we need to see changed. One that was really big this year that you might have seen is the field surface, social media posts, press releases, things like that, basically calling for more consistent and higher quality playing surfaces across the National Football League. That was brought up at this year's meetings. There was the NFLPA health and safety directors were there giving a presentation, leading discussion on what could be improved, the statistics behind the different types of artificial turf, being the slit film turf or I can't remember the other one. One of them is the slit film, I think, is higher in injury ratios, things like that. So that was sort of the overhanging big picture of what we were doing in Hawaii. Another big topic of conversation leading up to PA meetings and sort of around the combine time was the free agency report cards. I want to talk about that with you for a moment because I don't think we ever got to talk about that 2 weeks ago.
No, I think they had maybe just came out.
Yeah, I think we had talked about maybe addressing that, but I think we should bring it up because that was
for sure.
That made huge waves like fast. And JC, our president, when we were at the meeting, said that in the, I think it was in the 5 years of the, 5 years. 5 years of the union website, the NFLPA.com domain being live, the website had been visited like somewhere in the realm of 1.4, 1.5 million times. The PA got that and more in 1 week after it, like doubled in a week after that free agency report came out. So that just goes to show you how many people were just being drawn to see what it really is like, being in these facilities. There were people who lost their jobs.
Travel.
There were people who lost their jobs because of it. The strength coach in Baltimore is not the strength coach in Baltimore anymore because he got an F-, which actually kind of made me laugh because like an F is like one thing, but F- is just that is just like all time bad.
Like you did bad, but we think you did extra bad.
That's right. And so to me, what was interesting was it was the way that it was delivered was pretty genius on behalf of the NFLPA because the league had no idea that it was coming. Like that was something that we voted on. 1,300 players did the questionnaire. Sorry, I say voted on. Did the questionnaire, rated their teams, the weight room, the training room, the training staff, the nutrition, the cafeteria folks, travel, families on game day. Like, how are they treated? Is there a nursing room if your wife needs to breastfeed? Things like that. And there was no way for the league, the teams to prepare for it. And JC, our president, again said, he also said that there were a large number of teams who had already reached out to him, as well as a ton of other reps asking, like, what can we do? Like, our score stinks. Like, what needs to change? What do we need to do? And so that was, part of the discussion was, okay, how do we prepare a standard by which we, what gets an A+, basically.
Yep.
And so that is going to be ongoing. And I'm interested to see, like, the next 2 years as that, because that's really going to be like where you start to see, okay, this owner,
Yep.
this organization really cares about making their players happy and making them feel comfortable in their work environment, because those are the ones that are going to see that they got an F- and do something about it.
Nobody wants to be publicly
not twice
portrayed,
not twice,
as well as one of the lower graded, teams overall.
And there will be. There will be.
Tell you, for sure. I can tell you there's generic chatter in every locker room across the league from guys every spring talking about where they came from, new guys to the team. It happens every year in Buffalo.
Yep.
We, got conversations happen at the lunch table every day.
Yeah.
Where'd you come from? Hey, I know this guy. You kind of make the connections, and then you start talking about
what was it like.
I'm gonna brag on Buffalo for a little bit. Everybody that comes, almost everybody that comes to Buffalo in the past handful of years has said how much better they like it in Buffalo because the people are great. The organization cares about the players. They care about the families. The food is really good. The travel is, I don't think we got a great travel rating, but like the travel is, players sit in first class. It's the guys like it here, and there's always one or two things that they bring up about their old place. I'm not going to name any names, but there are a handful of places across the league that have a reputation of being cheap. And for example, I mean, I can say it because it came out in the report cards. The Arizona Cardinals charging players to eat dinner.
Awful.
Like that doesn't happen everywhere.
No.
Like that's
I didn't even know that was a thing.
Such an easy way. I didn't either. That's such an easy way to build camaraderie and build trust with your team.
For sure.
To give them a meal at night, at least to take home. Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Especially when you're there till 5 o'clock anyway.
Right. They've put in all day. Especially for some of those single guys that maybe are living at the hotel or something that don't cook a lot or whatever. Instead of making them buy out or whatever,
eat out.
Eat out a few days a week. Give them an option to take home some food from the facility.
That's something
there was another team that didn't even offer dinner.
Oh, I don't remember.
Was it Cincinnati? I think it was Cincinnati. They didn't even offer dinner.
That would check out.
They didn't charge their players for dinner because they didn't offer dinner. Like they didn't.
Yeah.
It wasn't a thing, but which is crazy. So
I will say that I was proud. I was proud. You and I both have it really, really good because
no doubt.
we were ranked.
I've never been down to Miami, but you have been up to Buffalo. You've seen the facilities, before you were still in college. Like
really good
what A+ facilities look like, right? And you guys just have a new facility down there in Miami. I'm sure.
I think we ranked second. Ours is top of the line. I think the only thing that we didn't get an A on, at least an A- was on the families. And I don't have a wife and kids, so that's not really something that I deal with a whole lot. The only thing that I really deal with is like post-game passes for
honestly
whatever, which like
it could be something petty like it's too hot for our kids to go to the game or something like that. Like,
there's not like honestly, an indoor relief area to
guys could be that picky about stuff like that, which it happens. But like that's the first thing that comes to my mind because I'm sure that's
probably it. Honestly.
Everything else from what you've told me down there is,
and I've always heard like from people who go to games in Miami that like because I've never been to an event. I guess I take that back. I've been to 2 events at Hard Rock Stadium, neither of which I sat like in a normal section. So I don't know like what the fan experience is like there, but everybody that I've talked to has just said how great it was. So I can't imagine that it was, that bad, but I know there are guys who are picky, but so sort of putting a bow on my trip to Hawaii, that is the single most top 2 most beautiful place I've ever been in my whole life.
Really?
Like truly. The other one that would even begin to compete with it was my trip to Peru last year, being up at 14,000 feet in the mountains, looking over Machu Picchu, like unbelievable, just naturally very beautiful place. But Hawaii is just incredible. The sunsets there are beautiful. The mountains overlooking the ocean and just the lava rock stuff is just so cool. I highly recommend anybody. I know this is like, oh yeah, I know you highly recommend it. It's like $1 gazillion to go there. But like, if you have the opportunity to go to Hawaii someday, go for sure. It was unbelievable. Abby and I had a great time. They gave us plenty of time for recreational pool and hiking and beach and doing whatever you want. They had like 7 water slides at the resort we were at. Abby was like
pretty cool,
all over it. We saw a sea turtle. Dude, we saw a sea turtle. Like I was swimming with a sea turtle, like not in a confined area. Not in like a water petting zoo. It was like the coolest thing ever. We were swimming. Let me just tell this brief anecdote. We were swimming, talking to these people who were from Atlanta. Saw the guy had a Braves hat on. I was like, this is why we chop. And I was like, are you guys from Atlanta? Blah, blah, blah. Got to talking. They were from Roswell. The guy like worked at Chick-fil-A. We knew a bunch of the same people. Anyway, we look over 15 minutes later, we're sitting out there in the ocean, whatever. And there's like a big dark spot in the water. And this is like very clear water. Dark spot is like right there. Abby's first instinct was, hey, let me put my goggles on. She had her goggles. Let me put my goggles on.
I would have brought goggles too.
Let me put my goggles on and go swim at it and see what it is. Not my first instinct. I was like, she was just like off. Hey. She's like, let me go see what it is. So thank goodness it was a sea turtle.
You were in the water at this point?
We were in the water, like chest deep water.
Okay.
It had been like storming the day before, waves, like surfable waves. Like we should not have been in the water.
Get it. Yep.
She's like, let me go see what it is. And thankfully it was a sea turtle. And she's like, look, it's a sea turtle. And we all like passed the goggles around looking at it. I was literally like, from me to that lamp right there from the sea turtle, it was the coolest thing ever. Like so cool.
Wow. Yeah.
So that is sort of the bow on my Hawaii trip. Incredible experience. I can't wait to go back there. I think meetings are back there again in 2 years. So
fantastic.
Hopefully you'll be joining us as a rep. If not, you will be out there as team council, and I am going to make sure that happens.
Fingers crossed. Want to get into given the fact that free agency started today, but some of the the re-signing and tampering period started before today. Given that this is a Long Snappers podcast for the Snappers by the Snappers,
yes,
wanted to get into a few of the long snappers that have either signed extensions or going to a new team in free agency, as happened just before we started recording. Actually, congratulations to Matthew Orzik for signing a 3-year deal with the Green Bay Packers. So congratulations, congratulations to him.
That's new to me.
A few
that's awesome.
Extensions that were signed with the same teams. Tabor Pepper signed a 3-year extension with the San Francisco 49ers. John Weeks, friend of the pod, signed a 1-year extension with Houston.
That dude
Morgan
just
Cox
that dude just will not
keeps
like
chugging on.
he will
Keeps
not
chugging on.
he will not stop fighting. And I like kudos to him. He is crushing it. Like playing well for having, he was an underdog coming into the league. We've had him on the pod before. If you want to know more about John Weeks, go listen to his interview. It was great story, but like crushing it, doing a great job.
Yeah, he's a dog. Morgan Cox, 4-time Pro Bowler, maybe 5-time now.
Dog. Speaking
4 or
of
5-time
dog.
Pro Bowler. Morgan Cox has signed a 1-year extension with the Tennessee Titans. Be his 3rd year with Tennessee. Patrick Scales, friend of the pod, signed a 1-year extension with the Chicago Bears. Casey Creeder signed a 1-year extension with the New York Giants. Also, the Giants also gave not friend of the pod, but friend of Reed Ferguson, Jamie Gillen, their punter. They gave him, I think, a 2-year extension.
Together.
Yes, we did. Scottish Hammer.
I did with y'all. Ate pizza together. Really good pizza.
Yes.
Congrats to both of them. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And our guy T-Mac. Friggin'
great people. And T-Mac.
What a room.
That's right. And then last but not least, big extension for our guy Andrew DePaula in Minnesota with the Vikings. 3-year extension, just over $4 million. And the most guaranteed money ever given to a long snapper. So 2.265, I think, was the guaranteed number. So congratulations to him. I think the most, what I could find on Spot Track, the most guaranteed money given to a snapper previously was around 1.9. I think with Charlie Hewlett's extension that he got during last season.
I want to say that Minnesota just re-signed Greg Joseph as well.
Did.
1 year.
They did. It was a 1 year
fully guaranteed.
Yep. So and they drafted the punter last year.
Yep.
Ryan Wright, I think is his name. Yep. So
that helps that he's
bringing
when you talk about the pot for the room, that helps that that Greg isn't on a long-term, big fat deal, because he's been kicking well. And then you've got a rookie in the room on a rookie contract. So you talk about the pot, he's not taking, the snapper can take a large chunk of that because you've got 2 guys, young guys, not, getting paid outstandingly high amounts of money.
Yep. A few teams that I saw that still need a snapper or that don't have a snapper currently under contract: Arizona, Baltimore, Dallas. Jake McQuaid and Matt Overton are both free agents. Denver, possibly they have Jacob Boben Moyer, who is a free agent, I believe.
Hurt last year.
He got hurt last season, but they also brought in Mitchell Fraboni or Fabroni. I can't remember what his Fraboni. And he, according to Spot Track, he is a free agent next year. I just don't know if he's on a futures deal or anything right now. The Rams need a snapper, given what I said a few minutes ago about friend of the pod, Matthew Orsek, who is now snapping for the Green Bay Packers. Seattle, the Seahawks had Carson Tinker, who is a free agent, but he took over for Tyler Ott, who got hurt, I think maybe in camp or early.
He's separated his shoulder.
1 or 2 last season. Yeah, something with his shoulder maybe. Yeah. So both of them are free agents, but I think one of them will be expected to sign back with Seattle. And then New England, Cardona is a free agent. So I'm not sure what is happening there. I think they have somebody on a futures deal. I can't remember.
I don't know what they did with
last year.
Tucker Addington. Yeah.
Addington. Yeah, I don't know if they gave him a futures deal, but he was signed at the end of last season for the last few games.
The only other one that I can really think of, there's been a ton of movement, or I say movement, there's a ton of open spots right now and a ton of contracts signed, like just in the last day, obviously since it started. But the only other one that I can think of was Cincinnati. So Clark Harris started the year. Cal,
Yes.
I don't know how to pronounce Cal's last name.
Adamitis.
He filled
He
in.
snapped, he did a good job.
I thought he did a
throughout the
great
season.
job. Yeah. And then so I don't know. I think they re-signed Cal, which to me spells the end of Clark Harris's 14-year career, 13, 14 years. Tucker Addington signed a 2-year contract.
Futures deal.
Yeah, it looks like a futures contract here. But yeah, so lot of movement still left to be done. Aaron Brewer not re-signing in Arizona.
I think when I looked at it,
re-sign?
he was a free agent. I think probably yet to re-sign. He was hurt at the end of last year, and they had Hunter Bradley, I believe, to finish the season. Who was in Green Bay?
Green Bay, yeah.
They drafted him actually.
Yep.
2-3 years ago, maybe 2 years ago in 2021. I think he was the year after you. Is that right?
Hunter Bradley? No,
Was
he
he
was
a year-
he was
Yeah,
before,
was he
he
a
was
year-
like 2 years before me.
So he would have been 19.
I was 20, so
I think
he was either 19 or
I think
18.
he was 19. I think he snapped in Green Bay maybe 19, 20, part of 21, and then they let him go. But yeah, so that's all I've got on the NFL.
I want to one more
side of
thing
things.
on the
Yep.
Baltimore thing. I would be astonished if they didn't re-sign Nick
Yeah,
Moore.
they'll figure something out. I think what I was looking at was they could give him a tender because I think he's a restricted free agent. I think the lowest tender, the low round tender is like 2.7 or something, which they're obviously not going to give a snapper. So they're trying to work out an extension, I would imagine. Probably, I mean, he should be, amongst the highest paid in the league. So I would assume that Nick is probably going to get somewhere around 1.3, 1.4, to kind of, or he may set the market. He may reset the market and beat what Josh, or I guess Charlie might be highest paid AAV now with his extension last year, but Josh Harris last year reset the market after James did it 2 years ago. So yeah,
we got to talk about some moves that our teams made.
Yes. Hold on, I want to hit one more thing.
Okay.
One more long snapper chatter. We talked about the NFL long snappers. I want to talk a little bit about a pretty cool video that I was tagged in a bunch for obvious reasons. Coach McDermott, I think he was enshrined in the William & Mary Hall of Fame or something along those lines. He was given maybe an award or something at William & Mary. I should probably figure that out. But he was in attendance, I think, for a team meeting or something. And I'm assuming the head coach asked him to, kind of get up and catch a snap from their long snapper. His name is Nick Levy. And he snapped to him right there in the front of the team meeting room.
It was the William & Mary Hall of Fame.
Hall of Fame. Is that what I said?
I can't remember.
I think that's what I said. Anyway, coach, was giving him some props. Hey, it's a good snap. And then he turned around and said, I think that's worth a scholarship. What do you think, coach? And everybody kind of went nuts. It was a great video.
That's balling.
But for obvious reasons, Bills fans were tagging me, saying, watch out for your job and stuff. So, Nick, I'd be happy to, I guess, compete with you if it got to that point. Welcome any competition up there in Buffalo. So,
Coach
yeah, I thought that
McDermott
was
is
pretty cool
for
video.
the long snappers. He
is
loves his long
he's
snappers.
big special teams guy.
Yeah.
Which leads me into our next topic is our teams and some of the guys that they have retained and some of the guys that they have newly signed. I will let you start. You have a couple highlights, one or two big guys.
Made a
Go ahead.
splash. Like
Flash.
huge news.
Flash trade.
A couple days ago, traded for Jalen Ramsey, gave up, I think, a 3rd-round pick and tight end Hunter Long. Huge. Like,
was Hunter a drafted guy?
Yeah.
I can't remember.
I think he was like 3rd or 4th round 2 years ago.
Okay. Was he a teams guy?
Yeah. But
I know Durham was like the special teams tight end kind of guy.
He was
Hunter Long didn't ring a bell.
Hunter was kind of like the next teams guy, like tight end teams guy. He was, I think he was inactive for a couple games. We had a huge tight end room, so it was just kind of hard, and so that makes sense why they sort of made that move. Now we're kind of thin at tight end. But huge trade, easily become one of the best. We were one of the best defensive back rooms in the league, but like easily like top 3 now, if not the best, with Jalen Ramsey, Xavier Howard.
Yep.
You've got Javon Holland in the back end. It is going to be a lot of fun watching those guys play together. Also signed David Long, linebacker from the Titans. Notably,
I saw a couple people talking about that they were surprised they let him get away.
Yeah, all I've seen is really, really good feedback on him. Supposed to be really good in pass coverage, kind of rangy, quick, good speed linebacker.
That was my report card coming out of college too.
Yeah, rangy
speed guy.
Is that a word that they use? Rangy?
I don't know. I like it though.
If it's not, it needs to be. And you're going to hear Daniel Jeremiah say it when he's not talking about the long snappers. It's a story for another day. Anyway, those have been the two that were marquee, I guess, signings, trades.
Sure.
We've retained a couple other guys, Duke Riley, LSU teammate of both of ours, which was great. I was excited to see that. Big special teams player, another rangy linebacker. Excited to see what other moves the Finns make. I think there's probably a couple others out there. Also retained Raheem Mostert and Jeff Wilson, which I was fired up about. Love both of those guys dearly. Jeff sat on the other side of the aisle from me on the airplane, so we had some fun conversation on the airplane. But both of those guys run super hard, as everybody knows that watches them. And yeah, that's kind of it for me. I know there were a few that you were especially fired up about. I'll let you take the floor.
Of course. We kicked off the tampering period a couple days ago. A lot of the breaking news contracts were re-signing guys that I was excited about. Getting Sam back at punter was huge. Very excited to get him back. Tyler Matakevich, our basically ace special teams guy, next
Dirty
to
Red,
Saran, who's under contract, but bringing back Dirty Red. And then
I saw Saran today at the gym, by the way. He says hello. So
nice. Hello,
just
Saran.
hanging out with your teammates.
Love him. We signed a guy today, Deontay Hardy, formerly known as Deontay Harris, who I can only imagine is one of the fastest people alive, according to the clips
Is he
that I
the-
saw
is
today.
he the
on
returner
social
from
media.
the Saints?
He's a returner / he's a receiver / punt returner. I think he was an All Pro 2 years ago.
He was
Is
really
I think is
good.
what I saw.
Yeah.
He was the All Pro punt returner. So
That's awesome. Good
yeah,
pickup.
pretty psyched to have him.
I need to
on
get
the
a
team
tackle. I need to
now.
get a tackle against the Bills next year. It sounds like.
Sure. He has spent a couple years with Saints, and then Connor McGovern, O lineman, I think was given a pretty good deal. He's coming
So,
from Dallas. And
Something
then,
that you and I were
of
talking
course-
about before
yes,
is that there are
Yes.
two. There's not one, but two.
and I have a funny
McGovern's
story
in the
about
league.
that. Yes,
Take it.
yes, I have a funny story about that. There's two Connor McGoverns currently playing in the NFL. Both are offensive linemen, and I believe both of them
Play center.
like guard is their main position.
Okay.
So, funny
So,
story.
so
there's
which one did y'all
guy
get? I
that
know that there was one
played-
in Dallas
we-
because
Dallas.
the
That's
one in
guy,
Dallas
Connor,
was
we signed.
okay. He was at rep meet. He was in Hawaii with us.
Oh, okay. We signed
So,
the Dallas
cool.
guy, and then the other one I think was in Denver for a year or two, and then the Jets for maybe the last year or two.
Mhm.
Anyway, funny story. Well, maybe he was in Jacksonville. I can't remember.
No, I think he was in. I think he was in New York
No.
most recently, because I remember.
No. A couple years ago, it would have been
Oh.
2018 because we played Jacksonville at home. And it was Jacksonville. Are you doing a check for me? Because I want to be sure that I'm right.
The one. So Connor McGovern, who is in New York, the Jets,
Yes.
presently, has only played for the Broncos. So
Okay.
he's only played for the
So it was
Broncos
the
most
Broncos
recently.
game. Broncos and then the Jets.
Yeah. And then the other
Okay.
Connor McGovern has only played for the Cowboys.
Only played for Dallas. Okay, so the one that we did not sign,
Yep.
the Connor McGovern that played for Denver
Broncos,
and then
Jets.
the Jets. When he played for the Broncos in 2018, he was, I think, starting on the line. Maybe he played the game against us, played in that game on the offensive line. We had Shaq Lawson at the time. It was his third season in the NFL. I think this was the year before he left, and now he came back. But after that game, he apparently got into it with Connor, the other Connor McGovern, and was like, "I don't even know who you are." All this stuff, because I think he got like 2 sacks on him or something. He dominated him in the game.
Yikes.
But it went viral because there was a camera, right? And he was like getting it up in his face, like, "I don't even know who you are." And it was hilarious. I'll try to find it and tweet it out from the podcast account. Maybe not tweet it. I'll try to maybe send you the link, and then we can decide if we want to tweet it out. Anyway, that is the Connor McGovern I thought we were signing.
Oh, Mister, I
didn't know.
don't know who you are.
I didn't know that there was
That
two
is
of them
so funny.
until it was made
Yeah.
known to me that there was another one in playing for the Dallas Cowboys for the last couple of years.
It's
So
hilarious.
pretty funny. And then obviously the big news today, bringing back Jordan Poyer. Super excited to get our guy JP back.
He's not coming to
battled-
Miami after all.
Absolutely battled through last season, played through a bunch of injuries. So he's not going to Miami. I think, who is your other safety?
Brandon Jones, who went down
Okay.
with a torn ACL last year.
That's what I thought. Okay.
Yeah.
So big time getting Poyer back. Him and Micah is going to be huge having them back there again. So super excited. I'm thrilled with the guys we brought back. A couple other guys we brought back, Tyrell Dodson, Cam Lewis, and I think
T-Dot.
tendering Dane Jackson to bring him back.
I know you
uh,
weren't fired up at all about re-signing T-Dot.
That's my guy.
That is
That's
like
my guy.
I think there's like a bromance between Reed Ferguson and T-Dot, specifically on Twitter.
SEC.
I think he might be the most active Bills player on Twitter, and that's saying a lot because you are very active, dude.
Oh,
He's
I
all
don't see
over
his stuff
Twitter.
a lot.
Oh well,
Oh, I don't see his stuff a lot.
you shouldn't have muted him.
Maybe I don't follow him.
That was rude.
I thought I followed him. Maybe I don't follow him.
Anyway,
so that's all I got. That's pretty much the free agency roundup for up until Wednesday night. So we got a little bit of March Madness.
last thing.
Okay.
Apparently, Aaron
Yep,
Rodgers
last
is going to
thing.
go to the Jets. Like
Apparently, I think they're still
he wants to go to the
figuring out a
Jets, and
trade
he
package
said
or something?
he said they need to get Alan Lazard, Randall Cobb,
that was fake. was
somebody
fake.
else. Oh, it was fake.
Yeah,
Well, I saw that they were
they
like
said the wish list. They said the wish
with
list
Odell.
was fake.
Oh shit!
Yeah, they said it was fake.
Dang, I got
He
duped.
said it was fake on Pat McAfee's show.
Okay.
You got to go watch the clip because he was roasting Adam Schefter too. He said Schefter. You didn't see this?
No,
He said somehow Shefty got his number, and
I did see the
Aaron-
text. I
all-
saw Adam
all
Schefter
Aaron saw
screenshotted
was,
and
yes,
sent the lose my number.
nice try, or something like
Yeah.
that. Like, nice try, bud,
Oh
or
man,
something. He was going after him. He was like, all these people. He's like, I didn't even text back Diana Rossini. All like, yeah, it was.
Jeez.
He was like, I'm gonna speak for myself.
Yeah.
So which I thought was
Good for
pretty
him,
cool. So,
and good for Pat,
yeah,
dude.
good for
That's
him.
freaking awesome that he
Good
did
for
it
Pat.
on Pat's show.
Yeah. Will Compton tweeted that at the peak viewership for Pat's show today, there was 500. I think he said 550,000 peak viewers at one time. So,
And that's a show
pretty
a
cool.
show that generally, like, when I watch it on a daily base, like a average day, it's like 50,000 people, which is
I was gonna
still
say maybe 40
outstanding,
to 50.
like very
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
But
Yep.
that's incredible. Good for Pat. Good for Aaron.
Yep.
You know, that's awesome. He's always been sort
No
of the I'm gonna do what I want to do, and I'm gonna do it my way type of thing. So
Yep.
good for
Yeah.
Aaron.
When you can when you have a ring and
And you're
multiple
like
MVPs.
the highest paid quarterback in the league.
At least one MVP. I don't know. He definitely has an MVP, but don't know if he has multiple. Anyway, I wanted to get into a little bit of the March Madness
Let's go.
before we finish up the pod. I know a lot of you listening are probably you've been anxiously awaiting this moment in time for us to cover March Madness, because you might have joined our ESPN Bracket Challenge group, and you were probably wondering what those prizes are. And we will be announcing those at the end of this segment.
All right, now. Why
so
would we
I want
do
to
that
start
right now?
out.
That'd be dumb.
We can. I want to give a little bit of a bracket overview. Just naming off some of the one seeds. Some other teams that I saw. I know this is not a basketball pod. You are not coming here to get college basketball feedback or opinions from us, but
Specifically me, considering I haven't done
myself,
I haven't
yes.
done my bracket yet.
I
Hilarious.
myself am a huge college basketball fan, so I feel like I can speak on it a little bit. Alabama, talking about number one seeds, Alabama is the overall number one seed.
Makes me
They
sick.
are, yeah, me too. Alabama, Purdue, Houston, and Kansas round out the one seeds. Houston is the odds-on favorite to be cutting down the nets in their home city. I might add.
Is it at NRG?
Erica and I, it's at NRG. Erica and I are
Sick.
considering getting tickets for the national championship, because I have never been to a
I've been
I've
to the Final Four
game,
but not the national.
never been to a
championship.
national championship game.
Cool.
So figured that would be something fun to do,
Totally.
kind of right before I have to leave back for Buffalo for OTAs. But Houston, followed up by Alabama, Purdue, and Kansas, obviously, are the favorites to lift, to be cutting down the nets and lift the trophy. I wanted to bring up, I know you haven't done your bracket yet, but one of the most popular upsets every year, I wanted to give my big upset pick. One of the big upsets every year is the 12 over 5 seed. So every year I try to pick one. I don't ever want to pick two, because it doesn't rarely happen, but it happens enough, but not like twice in 1 year enough. So my big upset pick, and it's going to be hilarious when you listen to this, and if you listen after March Madness has already started, it's going to be funny if they lose. But I am picking.
If
Virginia
not, there's a record that you
University.
called it. If not, there's a record that you called it. Sorry,
That's
I didn't mean to
correct.
ruin that for you.
I am picking Virginia, 12 seed Virginia Commonwealth University to win over St. Mary's, 5 seed. They are competing in the West bracket, where Kansas is the 1 seed. So I remember probably, I don't even know, maybe 10 years ago, I first heard of VCU playing in March Madness, and they kind of made a little bit of a run. Shaka Smart.
Let's go.
So I've been keen on VCU for kind of since then. Like, they always have my eye when I'm picking through my tournament. Creighton, also another one like that. They
VCU's
made
on a
few
5-game
years
win
ago.
streak.
VCU,
They're hot right now.
there's a few teams that pop up every year or almost every year in the tournament that seem to always find their way and maybe win one game or 2 games. So VCU is that team for me. I'm picking them. They are my lowest seed that I picked to win a game. I picked 13, 14, 15, or 16 seeds to win a game. So hopefully they can come through for me. But for those that are listening, prior to March Madness starting, I'm pretty chalk. I would say I'm mostly chalk throughout my tournament. A lot of high seeds when you get to the Elite Eight.
For those who don't know what chalk means,
chalk means the betting favorite.
Thank you.
I'm going mostly chalk, meaning I'm going mostly with the teams that would likely be favored in those games, which for the most part are the higher seeds. So a lot of good matchups I like, a lot of great games I think that could come out in the Sweet 16. A lot of great matchups. Alabama, Arizona potentially, or I'm sorry, Alabama, Virginia would be in the Sweet 16. I think Duke, Tennessee could be a great Sweet 16 game, or second round game.
Round of 32. Shoosh.
Yeah, round of 32. Duke, Tennessee, Kentucky, Kansas State could be in the second round. So a lot of good potential matchups. I think Kansas, UConn would be a Sweet 16 game that could be shaping up to be a great game. So VCU is my first round upset lock. I'm locking the door on them beating St. Mary's. So
Heard it here first, folks. Put it in your parlay.
Yep. I know you have not picked out your bracket.
I have 2 thoughts.
Go ahead. 2 thoughts.
Number one, rude of them not to put LSU in the tournament. That's just mean.
Yeah.
I thought they
year.
played well enough this season to be put in there. That's a joke.
Yikes.
Number 2, how long before McNeese State is in the tournament?
They won't be in the next 2 years.
Okay. So the reason I ask that is because they just hired Will Wade, who previously LSU. Also, the last time LSU has been to the tournament. Is that correct?
Yep, last year.
that just last year?
This is Matt McMahon's first season coaching. Yes.
But Will Wade didn't coach all of last year, right? He didn't he have like a suspension or something?
He came back.
Okay, maybe I'm tripping. Anyway, yeah, super rude of them not to include LSU. Number 2, I think we'll see them there, not next year, but the year after. I think that he's going to go on an absolute tear with NIL stuff because let's face it.
Does McNeese have a big booster base?
The dude does friggin' Colorado. Deion Sanders is pulling in money left and right in friggin' Boulder.
I think Colorado and McNeese State are.
It doesn't matter. That's not
Colorado
what I'm
is
saying.
the flagship college
That's
of
not
that
what I'm saying.
state.
That's not what I'm
McNeese
saying.
is like number 8 on the list.
It doesn't matter.
Schools.
In NIL, it doesn't matter. If you can make marketable players, they don't have to have the boosters. They just have to be enticed enough to come to your school and have
exactly. The money entices. Where do you think the money's coming from?
What are you saying booster money entices them? I'm saying
the boosters own businesses.
Okay. You're right. I'm saying that he's able to.
Are you saying the local car dealership in McNeese is going to?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
We're on the same page. I'm saying
they don't all have to be
boosters. The boosters.
Oh
10X.
yes, absolutely. But
okay.
And he would get exponentially more money for the players at Ole Miss,
Sure.
which is where I thought he was going to go. But he's going to be able to tear it up at the scale that McNeese is at. I'm not trying to compare Colorado to McNeese. I'm just saying they're not huge markets for these players to get the biggest deals, but yet they're attracted to Colorado now because they know that the coach can get them deals.
Absolutely.
And let's face it, Will Wade knows how to get players.
Yes, he does. Yes, he does.
Lead the fifth.
All right. So to round out the podcast, I want to give our championship picks and then we can get into the prizes. I know you have not done your bracket yet. Do you have a championship pick?
Virginia Commonwealth. Let's see.
Do you want me to ask you again, or do you want to just?
See, this is
Blake
really
Ferguson,
hard.
do you have a championship pick?
I don't right now, because I haven't gone through my bracket. Anybody but Alabama.
We will see your championship pick. Alabama.
Anybody but Alabama. Anybody but Alabama.
Oh, anybody but Alabama.
Anybody but Alabama.
Yeah, I feel like you could get pretty good odds if you took the field.
Yeah, I'd
Alabama
say so.
versus the field. So we can just find out who your champion is. Your champion pick is once the brackets lock tomorrow.
Let's do it. Who's your pick?
My championship pick is the Houston Cougars. I am going chalk, 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 not rock, chalk, Jayhawk.
You stole my joke, dude. That's rude.
Sorry. It's like we're brothers or something. I'm going chalk, chalk, chalk. Houston, I think they're going to have an extra, a little extra motivation about them, wanting to win it, at least make it to the Final Four in their home city so they can play in front of a feisty Houston crowd. But yeah, picking the Houston Cougars, and you'll have to see who the other side of my championship is when brackets lock tomorrow. Be sure to head on over to the After the Snap.
Whoa. You haven't
social
done
media
prizes.
page.
You haven't done
Hold
prizes.
on. I'm getting to it.
Okay.
Be sure to head over to the After the Snap podcast social media page on Twitter to find the link to join the Bracket Challenge group on ESPN. The prizes.
I thought you were just sending people to the social media like we do every time we round out this podcast.
No, I let you do that. The prizes for this year's After the Snap Pod Bracket Challenge Extravaganza, trademark. First place, we are bringing back last year's prize. You will get 2 tickets to your choice of Ferguson Bowl game, either the game in Miami or the game in Buffalo. Make sure you, if you do win, and we will continue to put this out via our social pages, and we will talk about it in our next podcast. Be sure to, if you are the winner, be sure to screenshot your stuff and DM us, because the usernames on ESPN don't always match up with what your Twitter name might be. So be sure, we will be tweeting out and looking for that person who wins, whoever that is, and looking for them on social media. So
2 things.
be sure to,
Number 1, if you can, when you do your ESPN account, make it the same as your social media. Obviously,
yes.
not always possible.
Great point. Yep.
Number
But
2,
you can name your bracket. So if you
that's
can,
also
name your
helpful. Yes.
bracket, your social media,
Twitter,
tag, Twitter
Instagram,
tag,
whatever.
so it can be easier to find you.
And then the second thing, you will have 1 week to claim your prize.
Yes.
Otherwise, we will go to the second place winner
Yes,
for the Ferguson Bowl tickets.
that's right. Second place prize will get a signed football, either by Blake or Reed, or both, if you want
Both, for sure.
both. We can work that out. Signed by the both of us. And then third place is we will both sign a hat. Either
An LSU
Blake,
hat.
we can do an LSU hat. Blake can sign a Miami hat. I can sign a Bills hat. Whatever you want, Blake and I will sign a hat for you. So that's it. First place, you get tickets to your choice, 2 tickets to your choice of Ferguson Bowl next season. Second place,
I really want I want Caleb and Chris to clip Michael Scott singing 2 Tickets to Paradise.
2 tickets to paradise.
I've got
Second place
2
will get a
tickets.
signed football from Blake and myself. And then third place, your choice of a signed hat by either brother, or we can sign
An LSU hat signed by both.
an
of us.
LSU hat signed from both of us. So those are your prizes. Be sure to join the Bracket Challenge group. I will tweet out, Blake and I will both tweet out the link before the tournament starts. We will also have it tweeted out on the After the Snap Twitter page. So be sure to keep your eyes open for that. And that's all I got. Excited for March Madness.
Let's go. That is a wrap on this week's episode of After the Snap. As always, thank you for joining us. Follow us on social media at After the Snap Pod. Subscribe, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube page. We will see you right back here next time on After the Snap. Tales from 2 brothers who live life upside down.